So, it's 2020 and I have here a 2008 MacBook Pro 15-inch model, and I'm wondering, can we install the latest version of Mac OS Catalina 10.15.3 onto this 12-year-old baby? So then guys, I'm back! I'm so sorry, it's been a long time. I'll be honest, the last video I made was about 6 months ago, and there's been a lot going on in my life, so I haven't been able to make any videos. But I want to be really thankful to all of my subscribers and anyone who's joined my channel since the last time I made a video. All of your support means loads to me. And if it's the first time you're watching this video, at the end of it, please do press like, and please do check out my other videos. And if you do like this video, and if you do like my other videos, please do press subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. So, now on to the big video. I have here a 2008 MacBook Pro, and I want to know if I can install the latest version of Mac OS Catalina 10.15.3 onto it. Now, last year I made a video in how to install the beta version of Catalina. It hadn't even been officially come out yet, it was in its public beta, onto a Mac Pro, and I installed that on a 2009 Mac Pro big tower machine. And I had loads of people watching that video, loads of people subscribing, so I really appreciate all your support. And a lot of people have asked me to make an updated video, so I thought, yeah, sure, why not? And that's what this video is all about, and that's why I'm going to be doing it on a different machine today, this 2008 machine. Now, the reason why I picked this particular MacBook Pro right here is because the actual patcher that I use, DOS-Dude 1's patcher, is supported on MacBooks and iMacs and Mac Pros really from 2008 onwards. There is the odd exceptions of some 2007 machines, and if you want to find out more information, do check it out on DOS-Dude's website, and that is down below. So I'm going to be installing the latest version of Catalina onto this MacBook Pro, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I've done it, and we're going to check out how well this MacBook Pro, this 12-year-old baby, is going to cope with the latest version of Catalina. So let's get started. So the first thing I actually wanted to show you guys is the spec of this MacBook Pro. So as you can see here, it is the MacBook Pro 15-inch late 2008. My apologies if you can't really see this too clearly, but trust me, it's a 2008 model. It's got a 2.4 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo. If I'm correct, this was the last 15-inch MacBook Pro the last year where they actually put Core 2 Duos in their 15-inch models. After that, it changed to the i5 and i7 series and even i9 in later dates. So inside it as well, it's got 8 GB of RAM. It's also got an NVIDIA GeForce 9600M GT 256 megabytes of RAM. That just shows you how old this machine is. It doesn't even have a full gigabyte of dedicated graphics RAM inside it. On top, I've put another hard drive in. I've taken out the actual CD drive and I've put in a 120 GB SSD drive instead, and that should just do the trick. I've also left the remainder 500 GB spinny drive inside it, and that's where I put all my data and everything like that. So first things first, what we want to do is to go to DOS-Dude's website. So if I just type in here, DOS-Dude, and it's DOSDude1.com. And afterwards, once we go into this page, what we want to do is go to My Software, and we want to click on the Mac OS Catalina patcher. Now, as I mentioned earlier, on this web page you can check out, for example, your system compatibility, and I know this MacBook Pro here is one of the 5 series, so here it is right here, so I know it definitely works. I think the 4.1, that's the last design of this MacBook Pro. This is the one what still had the button at the bottom and things like that. That MacBook Pro also works, but only the last 2008 model of that one. It also tells you about the different iMacs here. I think, if I'm correct, the 2011 iMacs, they don't work with DOS Dude. There seems to be a problem here, so do check that out and do check if you've got that type of iMac. But apart from that, most other MacBooks, MacBook Airs, Mac Minis, and even, look at this, the Xserve even works. And even, you can see down here, the list of Intel MacBooks and MacBook Pros and iMacs that don't work are listed right here, and you can look into those details if you so wish. So what we want to do first of all is click on the download the latest version. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to start to download. And once that's downloaded, we will open that up. Right, now that has downloaded, we're going to open up the file. And that's just going to mount for me, and there it is. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to minimize the web page, and I'm going to double click on the Mac OS Catalina patcher. And this might take a second or two to load, depending how fast or how old your MacBook Pro is. So it's just going to verify that. Now I've got a feeling it might come up with a security message, and it has. And to be honest, anybody who's running on anything from basically El Capitan onwards, like this MacBook Pro here, I'll just show you again. It's running on El Capitan, what is the highest OS that can be run on this machine. After that, Apple stopped supporting this machine. That was all the way back in 2015, I think the software came out, but 2016 they were still patching it. So let me just close that down. But to get our Catalina, get it right, patcher to work, what we want to do is go to System Preferences, and what we want to do after that is go to Security and Privacy, and then we want to click on Open Anyway here, and you might have to put in your password if you have got one. Once that's done, you can see it's bouncing around and it's starting to load. So I'm just going to click Open again, and there we go. Now, what it's going to say is going to put us through some instructions. So it says, welcome to the Mac OS Catalina patcher. Click here to continue. So I'm going to click continue. Let's give you some of the contributors, information. Now, the first thing what we want to actually do is probably download a copy. Most likely, if you're on an older version and if your Mac cannot support Catalina, you won't be able to download a version from the actual App Store. So what we're going to have to do is click on download a copy. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And now it's going to actually link over to Apple's servers, and it's going to pull that down for us. So I'm going to click start download. Now I'm going to be honest, this is going to take some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this video run, speed it up for you guys, and then when it's completed download, we'll see it then. So then, now that has finished downloading, what we want to do is install this on a USB stick. Now the USB stick here I have is a 32GB stick. I would recommend to use a 16GB stick or bigger, and just slot that into the side of your machine. So after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this middle option here, what is create a bootable installer. So I'm going to select that, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the OS X install, and then after that we want to click start. It's going to tell me again it's going to be erased, that's okay. And it's going to ask for my password. I'll let you into a secret. It's 1234 on this machine. On my other machines, it's definitely not that. And what it's going to do, this is going to install now. Now again, this could take a good few minutes, or it might take you an hour or so. So grab yourself a drink and let it run. Again, I'm just going to let this video run to the end and speed it up so you guys can just see it installing onto the USB stick. Now this has been completed, what we can do, we can press quit. I'm just going to close that as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to shut down the MacBook. Now that the MacBook is shut down, what we want to do is we want to boot from the USB stick. Now depending on what Mac you have to look at the internet. You need to find the option to boot from another device. So use Google, find out what that option button is. For this MacBook I have right here, it's holding down the Alt button or the Option button on some keyboards. So I'm just going to turn on the Mac and hold down that. Now that we have this booted up, what we want to do is we want to use our keyboard and we want to move over to the EFI boot, the picture of Catalina, and then press return or click on it with your mouse. Now again, this might take a minute or two to load depending how fast your Mac is, so I'm just going to fast forward this. Right, once you see this screen, we'll have a lot of options here. Now the first option we want to go to is Disk Utility, and I'm going to click Continue. Now I must warn you guys at this stage, it depends on what Mac you have in how you format your hard drive for putting Catalina onto it. What I'm going to say is this: if your Mac can be installed up into High Sierra, so even if you bought it on, say, El Capitan and you've upgraded it and High Sierra is the last official software that Apple supports, then you must format your hard drive as APFS, what I will show you in a second. If you are on an older Mac, like I am on here, and say the last software what you can run on it is something like El Capitan or the first Sierra, not High Sierra, then you must install this as the standard Mac OS journaled hard drive setting. And I'm going to show you that to you guys now. So, like I said, because this MacBook has never had High Sierra on it and can't natively support High Sierra, I'm leaving it as Mac OS Extended. Like I said, have a look on Wikipedia, for example. It will tell you on your Mac what's the highest supported OS that your Mac can run. So look that up and make the decision based on that. So I'm going to leave it as Mac OS Extended Journal, and I'm going to click Erase. Now this is erased, we're going to click Done. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close down this utility, and then we're going to click Reinstall Mac OS and then click Continue. So once we have the screen up, we want to click Continue again, and we can have a quick read of the T's and C's if you wish. I've read them before, so I'm going to click Agree. I'm going to click Agree again at the top. And then we're going to select which hard drive to install onto it. So the one I've just formatted is the OS X one, what's my SSD. This is my other spinny drive that I showed earlier. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to click Install. Now this bit here is going to take some time to complete. Now while this is installing, a quick word of caution for you. While this screen is on, you can leave it be. What the MacBook Pro is going to do is going to restart. So I say MacBook Pro, so it could be your Mac. It's going to restart. What you want to do is leave it after its first restart. After the second restart, what you want to do is hold down the Option button again, or the key button that basically allows you to boot from the USB. And remember, that is on the second restart. So for me, I'll be holding down the Alt Option button here on the keyboard, but like I said, it'll be the same button that you use to boot from the USB, and make sure you do it on the second restart, not the first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom back in on the screen and you guys can watch this and watch it do its first restart. Now that we're on the second reboot, what we want to do is hold down the Alt Option button. And we want to go back into the EFI boot again. Again, this will take a minute or two to load, so I'll just fast forward this. With the Mac OS utilities back up again, what we want to do is to go to this bottom option this time called the Mac OS post install, and we want to press continue. Now automatically it should detect what Mac you have and what patches need to be applied, and the way if you want to change this is by clicking the change button here. As you can see, I've got a MacBook 5.1 and that is the correct MacBook settings for this installation. However, if you know your Mac is a different one, all you need to do is just press this button here and then select the right machine. You can find out what Mac you've got by going into About This Mac and then going into System Information, and it will tell you what machine you actually have. So when you come to this page later on in the installation, you can select the right one. But generally, 9 out of 10 times, it gets it right, it figures it out, as you can see here, and you don't need to really change anything at all. The other thing as well, it's telling me where it's going to install it, what is the OS X volume, what we created earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to click Apply Patches, and this takes a minute or two to do. After this is done, it will give us the option to reboot, and we're going to boot into Catalina for the first time. Now upon this reboot, you don't need to do anything at all, you just leave it run. Now the first time loading up Catalina, it might take a couple of minutes. Also at the same time as well, if you see this screen, it's nothing to worry about. It just generally means you've got an older Mac. And if you've got a newer Mac, you're most likely probably not going to see this screen at all. So we're just going to let this run, and the Apple logo will come up in a second. And like I say, it's going to take a little longer the first time, but afterwards, once we've done all the pre-settings, next time this will boot up much faster. Now we just need to finish a few last pre-steps. So I'm going to select my language, what is United Kingdom, country I live in, sorry. It's done my language. I'm not going to change any of these settings, I'm going to click continue. Now I'm not going to enter my Wi-Fi password, but as you can see, Wi-Fi's are being detected, internet's been detected, so the Kex driver, whatever you want to call it, has definitely installed. So I'm just going to click continue. We'll move on to data and privacy. I'm not going to transfer anything. And then for iCloud, I'm just going to click setup later for now. Like I said, I've read the terms and conditions earlier, so I'm just going to click agree. And then for name, I'm just going to put Matt in. I've already done it. Click continue. Oh. And for password, I'm just going to put 1234. 1234. Like I said, that is not the password I normally use, but just to show you guys. So it's just clicking creating account. This might take a minute or so, but if you've logged in with your iCloud, you probably have to skip the step, so you just use your iCloud password to log in. I'm going to leave it on Express Setup, click continue, and skip analytics for now. Set up the screen time later setting. That's another good sign that we've definitely got Catalina, because it's new for it. I'm just going to, I'll leave Siri switched on actually. And then I'm not going to share my audio, I'm just going to click continue. And I'm going to go for the auto look. It allows me, it doesn't like it, so I'm just going to go for dark for the moment. Click continue. So it's setting up your Mac. Just let this finish. And there we go. Oh, the screen's just disappeared. It's probably because it's just installing the driver. But it will reappear again in a second. There we go. So I'm just going to put my password in, 1234. Click the next button. There we go, we're back again. I'm just going to minimise this, so I'll explain that in a second. But just to show you guys, click on the Apple logo, about this Mac, and the pop-up should appear. As you can see, it's a 15-inch, late 2008 model, and we've got the Core 2 Duo, the drive that we've installed are the NVIDIA graphics card, and there we go, 10.15.3 that we installed on. Now with the patcher, there is a patcher updater, and as you can see here, there's a patch here for night shift patch, and I'm going to install that. It'll probably tell me to restart. Put my password in, 1234. So you might have some of these to do, but it's nothing to worry about. It's just a patcher, just fixing bits and pieces. But this is a good chance for us to restart and show you guys how quickly it is for a 12-year-old MacBook to restart. And there we go, we've restarted. I'm just going to put my 1234 in again. Click next. And we should come to the desktop in a second. And there we go. We're back on Catalina on a 12-year-old MacBook Pro. Well, there we go, guys. That's Catalina installed on a 12-year-old MacBook Pro. And to be honest, everything seems to be working fine. Now, being it's 12 years old, I'm not going to get rocket speed coming out of this MacBook Pro at all. But the point is, it can run the latest OS on this machine, and I can get all the security updates and everything like that downloaded onto it, and use majority of the new features that are also available on Catalina. Well guys, it's time to wrap this video up, so I want to thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a very long video, this one, but if you have enjoyed it, please do press the like button down below. At the same time as well, if you enjoyed it, please do subscribe to my channel. I make loads of videos like this, and like I said, I am back now, so I'm going to be making loads more videos, so please do press subscribe. So guys, until next time, I will see you soon. Bye!